Good evening. My name is Grace Schmidt, and here with me is Jebediah Merkel. We are honored tonight to represent our class as we thank all the parents and grandparents who have supported and loved us in every stage of our lives.
But before we start, I'd like to throw out a few numbers. 78, 19,224, 10,836, and finally 756,864,000. Now I'm sure you're wondering what these numbers mean, so let me explain. We have gathered here 78 students. Every student has been provided with 19,224 meals to date. That's a lot of meals for new parents. 10,836. The number of hours students have suffered through class, have learned, of course. And finally, 756,864,000 is the number of heartbeats since birth for these students. It's been a long time since you watched our first heartbeats over 18 years ago. Oh, almost forgot. 47 was the number of senior pranks that almost happened.
Dear parents, in addition to all those meals you've made for us, you've changed an estimated 9,895 diapers. Thinking about that number, many of us second-guess having kids of our own. Before any of us could comprehend anything, you poured out loving words in your comforting baby talk. Before any of us could sit up or stand or walk, you carried us everywhere. Before any of us could understand and appreciate all the sacrifices you were making, you sacrificed time and time again.
In elementary school, we experienced a lot of firsts. We transitioned from a protected, familiar life at home to an independent, challenging life in a larger community. You taught us a lot. You taught us the alphabet before our first day of school, but we had to learn the power of words. You played catch with us in the backyard before our first baseball practice, but we had to learn to be part of the team. You trained us to be polite, but attending our first birthday party, we had to learn that the presents were not for us. Your small lessons laid the foundation that we've built our lives upon.
Our middle school years, we can all agree, were some of the most regrettable times we endured. Often, we ignored you completely. We naive 12-year-olds thought we had all the answers. Didn't you get tired of hearing how embarrassing you were? Nevertheless, you bankrolled our orthodontia bills. You gave in to our unfortunate hairstyle changes. You drove us to the mall and to sports practices and to our friends' houses. You loved, patiently and sincerely. When we didn't want to be seen with you, it never occurred to us that the feeling might be mutual.
High school, what a great time it's been. These years have been full of ups, downs, stress, achievements, and most of all, change. Thank you, parents, for sticking with us through these difficult times. Thank you for being patient when we didn't want to talk and being interested when we did. Thank you for teaching us to drive and later even trusting us to take the car alone. And Mom and Dad, thanks for not noticing when I was 10 minutes past curfew. We remember shopping for school clothes, registering for classes, and visiting colleges. I hope you enjoyed watching sporting events because you did it a lot. Finally, thank you to all the adults who asked us our plans for the rest of our lives. We know you meant the best. So on behalf of the class, let me ask you, do you know what you're doing with the rest of your lives?
Parents, you have guided us through everything we've experienced thus far. None of us can imagine life without you by our side every day, but we all know that that reality is fast approaching. Many of us don't feel ready, but you've prepared us. In college and in life beyond, we will face trials we don't think we can endure. In those darkest moments, however, we know you will still be there. We will be encouraged by the strength, bravery, and love that you have always exemplified. The Lord willing, many of us will marry and become parents and grandparents ourselves. In the blink of an eye, it will be us, sitting in an audience, watching with bleary eyes as our kids walk across the stage in caps and gowns. We hope to give the same guidance and support to our children that we receive from you. And if we're lucky, our kids might turn out as great as we have.
Thank you, parents, for your many sacrifices. Thank you for always supporting us. And thank you for loving us. I know we don't always act like it, but we'll miss you. After all, the numbers don't lie. You guys are the best parents. Now, class of 2018, please rise and join me in honoring our parents. And I think we can walk up. All right. Thank you, guys.
Good evening. My name is Curtis Kettler. I'm the choir director and music department chair here at Southwest. It is my honor to speak to you tonight as we recognize the achievements of the graduating class of 2018. The question I get asked most often by Southwest students is, Mr. Kettler, who is your favorite student? Well, let me finally put it to rest. My favorite student is, no, there's no way I'm answering that question. And I never will. The problem with that question is as soon as I answer it, someone feels hurt and left out. In the same way, my speech to you graduates tonight will be a little different than baccalaureate speeches in the past. Instead of trying to recall a memory I have with all of you, or even most of you, because inevitably I would forget someone and leave them feeling hurt and left out, I want to share one thing that I've learned from your class, and one thing I hope you have learned from me. There are probably many things we've learned from each other, but in the interest of time, I'm going to leave it at one apiece. But before I do that, I want to reminisce a moment about your freshman year. For most of you, I'm going to assume that the most memorable thing about your freshman year was that I wasn't here, because I didn't start teaching at Southwest until your sophomore year. So in place of memories you didn't have with me your freshman year, here are a few interesting facts about 2014. Now, in many ways, the things that are popular today are the same as in 2014. However, there were a few notable moments in 2014 you might remember. Pharrell released the song that never gets out of your head, Happy. The Apple Watch was announced. Justin Bieber was arrested 4 times. Some dude raised $55,000 on Kickstarter to make potato salad. Sharknado 2 was released. And how many of you dumped ice water on yourself or a friend as part of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge? So yeah, it was a big year. I'm sure you have many wonderful memories of your first moments in high school, and many people over the next few days will remind you of those first few weeks at Southwest and what they were like, how scared or excited you were, how you weren't sure exactly where your classes were the first week, or how awkward you felt trying to find someone to sit at lunch with. But like I said, instead of reminiscing about these things, I'd like to share one thing I've learned over the past 3 years from you, the graduating class of 2018. Philemon 1:7 says, "Your love has given me great joy and encouragement, because you have refreshed the hearts of the Lord's people." If there's one thing I know about this class, it's that your joy is palpable. Whether it's leading encounter services, leading your team to victory on the quarter field, or leading people to Jesus in the DR, even when many of you were violently ill, this class does everything with joy. I noticed that there was something special about this class the moment I came to Southwest, and time again, your infectious positivity has been evident to all. You are proof for me that joy is the key to perseverance. No matter the obstacle, you've chosen to embrace joy instead of pity, complaining, or sorrow. And if there's one thing I've learned from all of you, it's that I need to approach each moment of my life with joy. When I see James Osanasic leading encounter, or Joey Vierink in a theater production, or David Solfelt cheering on his teammates, I see joy. When I see Kylie Howder singing a solo, or Grace Schmidt leading her teammates on the court, or hearing Rachel Gasson's very distinctive and infectious laugh, I see joy. And even when I see Johnny Jensen dancing at homecoming, I see joy. You are such a joyous group of people. You remind me constantly, whether you know it or not, that it's so important to enjoy every moment you have with the people around you. I challenge you to never let that go. I know you thought high school was hard, but for most of you, life is only going to get tougher from here. More deadlines, more responsibilities, harder choices. But throughout it all, remember where your joy comes from. And remember that joy truly is the key to perseverance. That's because joy isn't the same as happiness. It's deeper. It comes from the Spirit of God within you. It will keep you going even when happiness has faded. You have demonstrated that time and time again over the past 4 years, and I am grateful to have learned it from you. Now, I am nothing if not a teacher at heart, so give me a podium and a group of students, and instinctively I will need to teach something. So here's what I'd like to teach you, or perhaps something I hope you've learned from me along the way. And it has to do with the word home. See, I'm a military kid. My father was in the Air Force for 23 years. Growing up, we moved approximately every 2 to 4 years. Sometimes it was across town, sometimes it was across the world. I'm in my early 30s, and I've moved approximately about 25 times in my life. It's experiencing that as a child and later as an adult changes your perspective of the word home. Home's supposed to be a place, right? Somewhere you can always return to. But for me, that was hard to define, because which place was home? Was it Arizona, where I was born? Was it the tiny town in southwestern Oklahoma where I spent my childhood? Was it London, where I felt the most at home? The answer, of course, is none of those places. You see, the thing I hope that you take away from tonight, even if you haven't listened to anything else I've said, is that home is not a place. It isn't a certain geographical point on a globe. Instead, home is the people you choose to love and who love you in return. When Jesus says he's going to prepare a home for us, he isn't telling us our new address. He's saying he wants to be the person we love and are loved by in return. For me, home is a beautiful woman named Elizabeth, my wife, for those of you that don't know. But for the past 3 years, because of you amazing students, my home has also been Southwest Christian High School. You have made this place home for each other through the Christ-like love that you have shared. This is home, not because the address is 1981 Bavaria, but because this is where the people you have shared your life with are. But now your home is changing. Most of you are heading to new places with new people and new homes. And it's probably a little intimidating and sad to think about leaving your home. But that's the beauty of thinking of home as not a place, but people. You're not leaving your home. You're just expanding your home. There are so many more people out there just waiting to be a part of your home. In that way, your current home never leaves you, because the people who love you, your family, your friends, yes, even your teachers, are a part of who you are as a human being. And in that way, this place that we call Southwest Christian High School, or should I say the people you have shared life with here for the past 4 years, will always be home. Thank you.
Now that we're all on the same level, let's get started.
This may seem like a strange way to begin a speech, but this is how we all began our high school careers. The first English class of freshman year, which happened to be all of our first class here, Mr. Walters began class by gathering us in a circle and by playing this bowl.
We want to thank Mr. Walters for introducing us to the creativity of writing and encouraging us to explore subjects that we had not yet been introduced to. This creativity continued junior year when Mrs. Pettit brought a new type of learning to the classroom. You have all experienced an English class where you write about countless meaningless topics, but Mrs. Pettit's class, this is not the case. We were able to develop and improve our writing skills while writing about topics we were truly passionate about.
Thank you, Mrs. Halkin, for your endless patience and grace. You bend over backwards for our every need, and we are so lucky to have you as a teacher who loves us like her own children.
While learning our own language in English class is important, we have also had the privilege of learning foreign language from our talented teachers, Mrs. Gruen, Mrs. Wakefield, Mrs. Schwartz, and Mr. Mitnick.
Learning Spanish was very important in preparing us for our missions trip to the Dominican Republic. This year was one of the most memorable trips. Beyond all the usual opportunities to minister and serve to the people of the DR, almost half of us got sick.
Mrs. Wakefield accompanied us on our trip as a translator and a chaperone. She was fully immersed in the culture, language, and our illness. I was in the quarantine room in the Dominican, and while she was obviously in immense pain, Mrs. Wakefield proceeded to tell us her engagement story, helping to lift our spirits in the midst of sickness. Additionally, Mrs. Broskoff cared for us constantly throughout the trip. She was willing to selflessly serve those who were ill and even sacrifice sleep on numerous nights in order to make sure we stayed hydrated.
Believe me, we were all praying.
On that note, thank you, Mr. Goldie, for encouraging us to think deeply and philosophically about all aspects of our faith and encouraging us to dive deeper in our faith. Also, thank you for being a godly role model and a mentor in my life as my D group leader.
Thank you, Dr. Carlson, for challenging our faith, encouraging our curiosity, introducing us to tough subjects, and always cracking jokes.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Mealy for being an incredible history teacher. Your ability to start insightful discussions in class was always inspiring me. Also, thank you for calling on me about 1 out of every 3 times you asked a question.
Mr. Peter Welly can talk about any subject and make it interesting. We were trying to think of a topic, a historical event that everyone thinks is boring, but after having you as our teacher, we couldn't think of one. You are a truly gifted educator, and we thank you so much for the time and care you put into teaching us.
Also, thank you for being the only Christian school teacher to have posters of Stalin and Genghis Khan on your wall.
Dr. E, thank you for pushing us to exceed expectations in the classroom. Your constant reminders and encouragements on how to win at the game of school have blessed us throughout the years. We will especially remember your willingness to go above and beyond what was required of you. I have a vivid memory of you staying with James and me until 6 p.m. to learn kinematic equations the night before a big exam. Also, thank you to Mr. Flint for growing our love of science, and thank you specifically for being the most chill person to TA for ever.
Our class has all sorts of artists. Whether learning photography, ceramics, charcoal drawing, or painting, we all have Mrs. Gullifer to thank.
We'd also like to thank Mr. Avery for coaching our basketball teams this year. Even though we had to do that horrible conditioning test in order to play, it was still worth it. I'd also like to thank you for pouring into us basketball players on and off the court, and for teaching us the role of basketball in our life. God first, basketball, school. God first, school, then basketball.
We would also like to thank Mr. Haig for shaving his mustache. And we would thank Mr. Kaiser, but he's probably in Canada.
And thank you to Mr. Viss. Your patience is remarkable, both as a math teacher and as my JV basketball coach. But on a serious note, we'd like to thank the athletic department for encouraging us to push beyond our physical boundaries and to achieve great things for both ourselves and for our teams.
Thank you, Mr. D, for guiding us through life by teaching us valuable math and life lessons. You've always been on our side, and you've always been willing to teach us and encourage us.
Thank you to Mr. Wass for taking the time to invest in each and every one of our lives. We can tell you genuinely care about our personal and spiritual well-being. Your actions behind the scenes are greatly appreciated and recognized. Also, thank you for never making me pay $20 to get my phone back.
Thank you, Mr. Beckering, for being a godly man and leading our school with integrity. And we appreciate all the work you put into the expansion, even though we wish you had done it 2 years earlier so we could have experienced it.
Now that this is coming to a close, on behalf of the entire class of 2018, we'd like to say one final thank you to all of the staff at Southwest Christian High School. You have cared for us more than we could ever expected. You have pushed us to exceed expectations, and you have guided us to make wise decisions. We will miss you all greatly, and we're so very appreciative.
Good evening. Sorry. My name is Brooke. Tonight I'd like to share my testimony with you. I wasn't always an only child, but one day I became one. My family wasn't always like this. At the time, we consisted of my father, mother, and brother, as well as myself. A light brown mustache and hazel eyes, which I've never seen cry, describes my father. My mother has short black hair, bright green eyes, and olive skin, which I inherited from her. Ethan, my brother, who is older than me by 2 years, had dark brown hair, almost black like my mother's. He was like my father and had hazel eyes, as well as a muscular frame. This was my family, small but unified. I have grown up in a Christian home. My parents have raised me Catholic, and that is still what I identify as. As a child, I lived vicariously through my brother. He played 3 sports: wrestling, football, and baseball. I myself was involved in volleyball and softball. I wasn't passionate about either sport like my brother, but I liked them and I did them. Life was routine for me. It was what it was. There was never a time in my life that God wasn't in my life. We went to church on all Sundays that we could. To me, the sentiment was that if we couldn't make it, it wasn't that big of a deal. My church has a faith formation program, which is sort of like youth group, but not really. You go just about every Wednesday during the school year, and it consists of workbooks and conditioning of the Catholic faith. I remember going to church ever since I was little. It was just something that we did. My life was simple before making my relationship with Christ my own. I didn't understand that knowing about Christ was very different from knowing Christ. I guess I would say that I developed my relationship with Christ in a tragic way. On December 30th, 2010, my life changed. It was a normal Christmas vacation day at home with my brother Ethan. It had just snowed, and it was the kind of snow that you can't wait to play in because it had the perfect properties to make snowballs and snow forts out of. I wasn't the kid that just went outside and played for the fun of it. I preferred to be inside and draw or watch TV. But that day I decided to go outside and play. When a neighbor came over and asked Ethan to come out and play, I went to get him. Ethan said that he would be right out. He just needed to put on his snow pants. Time passed while Neil and I were outside making snow forts, and I realized it was taking longer than necessary for my brother to come outside. We didn't go back inside, but decided to go on an adventure to figure out what he was doing. More time passed until I guessed that he must be back on the computer playing games. I was wrong. I walked inside and followed a foul smell to the bedroom of my parents. Inside was Ethan, supine and surrounded with his own blood. My 12-year-old brother had committed suicide, and I had no idea. I heard no gunshot, felt no vibrations, nothing. My instincts told me to run for help, and I ran as fast as I could to a neighbor's house. That was December 30th, 2010, the day my life changed, the day I became an only child at 10 years old, the day I started a true relationship with Jesus Christ. My relationship with Christ didn't instantly ensue after my brother's death, but gradually formed throughout the years to come. I went to public school all the way until high school. My brother's death, plus some personal reasons, was the rationale behind why I decided to go to Southwest Christian High School my freshman year. But the reason I continued to go there is Christ. Part of the curriculum there is Bible courses, from studying the Bible, Old and New Testament, and applying it in Christian thought and philosophy. These courses are probably my favorite aspect of Southwest. I learned more about my faith, the Bible, and who God is through these courses. We read the Bible as homework and dove into God's word in class. We dealt with what the Bible actually said rather than what people assume is there. This is where my relationship with Christ thrived. In a community where we worship God every Wednesday and pray in class, it isn't very hard to talk about what I believe in. Now, my high school experience has not been perfect. I do not have a perfect life, and I definitely had my share of difficult times. I've experienced pain and loneliness and depression. I went through a time where I dropped 16 pounds because I didn't like who I was, and it was not a result from working out. I'm not proud of some of my high school years, but I am proud of how I worked through it. Romans 8:18 says, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." Even though I have a relationship with Christ, I still most certainly have my struggles. I still struggle with insecurity. I struggle with what people think of me. I am a worrier. I worry that I'm not good enough. This is because I still haven't put my entire identity in Christ. I know sometimes it feels like Christians throw all these Bible verses at us with good intentions but flawed execution. The Bible is so full of wisdom, and I haven't read as much as I should, and I can't just throw a couple verses at you and hope that you understand all that it contains. But I want to share another verse, 2 Timothy 1:7. "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline." Yes, I still struggle with lots of things, but everyone does too. I find myself sometimes needing to remind myself that no one is perfect, because there's only one man that was, and that is the person of Jesus Christ. God has transformed my life. He has turned it upside down and inside out. But I'm still here. I'm still living and breathing and experiencing life. My testimony is not like a lot of people's. It's unique to me. A lot of times I feel like people hear testimonies or stories about how people hear God's voice or directions from God. For me, I've never heard God's voice, but I have felt his presence. I have once felt an overwhelming presence of God, and it was okay. God is here. God has always been here, and he is so good. But that's not what my faith is usually, and not what it is a majority of the time. It was a time where I connected with God. Losing my brother instilled in me a hunger to know the answer to why. We know he had a concussion at the time of his death, which may have been a contributing factor, and I still don't know the complete answer, but I'm no longer troubled by the question. God has used this tragedy in order to teach me that he is trustworthy and is able to make beauty out of ashes. He has provided me a safe path to seek him. I don't always know where it is leading, but I'm comforted in the fact that he is leading me. Seasons of our lives come and go. We develop and mature as we grow. But my story is not yet finished. My testimony is not complete because God is not done with me yet. He is still working through me and you every single day. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is David Solfeld.
And this is Carly Watchhorn. We are very excited to speak to you guys tonight.
It's hard to believe that just 4 short years ago, we were scared, awkward freshmen just beginning high school. Some of us have changed a lot since then.
And then there are those of us who haven't really changed at all.
Since year one, teachers and parents have commented on the amount of leadership and unity that we have as a class, and we would agree. As a class, we've become united in everything, including becoming sick, apparently, which we proved this year when we all came down with the flu within 3 days in the Dominican Republic. It was awful, but at least we did it together. We are also united in the fact that we are all terrible drivers. Our extensive list of students in accidents includes Sydney Beard, Angela Singer, Sam Eibach, Adam Seward, Sydney Jones, Courtney Shirley, Mason Hardacre, Jack Seltz, Isaiah Coleman, Hunter White, and Peter Hay and the Semi.
We have also shown unities in ways that Beckering and WASP probably wish we hadn't. An example being the notorious 9 bravely asking their dates to formal by taking their shirts off, which immediately earned them a dress code violation. And because of that, we cannot show you the picture today. Or it being Isaac, Ethan, and Zach, rollerblading away from WASP, going down the stairs and out the door of the school. And we cannot talk about unity without mentioning the senior campout on Mr. Beckering's lawn.
On a more serious note, our class has contributed a vast amount of leadership and ingenuity to Southwest. We first showed our academic abilities when sophomore year, our entire AP World History class passed the advanced placement test, a rare occurrence. This year, we showed our creativity when our Mr. and Miss Southwest, Isaac Anderson and Emily Cleary, won homecoming week for us. We also have many students with artistic talent. This year, Inga Molly earned a gold key, a silver key, and an honorable mention in the Scholastic Art Competition for her photography. And Colin Patterson wrote and released his own album, Selah, which can now be bought on iTunes. We also got to enjoy his first original composition, Pocket Watch, when the choir performed it at the spring concert.
On top of just Colin, our class has seen many successful years of choir and have had many amazing opportunities. From singing at Carnegie Hall to winning multiple choir awards, our class has ushered in a new era of choir success the Southwest had never seen prior to us. And you cannot talk about choir without mentioning the Accidentals, started by James Osanasic. This a cappella group has become one of the best in Minnesota in just 3 years, due largely in part to our senior class. The class of 2018 has also been vastly successful in athletics. When Southwest made the jump from class single A to class double A, our class responded by having 3 successful years, including multiple trips to state from members of our track and field team, conference championships from soccer, baseball, volleyball, and golf teams, and even the creation of both hockey and girls and guys lacrosse. On top of all the success in high school, 11 students have committed to play their sports in college.
Looking towards the future, I think the students here will go on to do some amazing things. We have students wanting to be doctors, dentists, engineers, missionaries, counselors, and even President of the United States. Though Bella Gerthoff for 2036. We'll be taking what we learned here and spreading it to nearly every aspect of study. And while we have the expected amount of students, ourselves included, attending Bethel, the U of M, and #MyWheaton, we also have 3 students going to Ivy League colleges, Isaac Anderson, Tommy Pointer, and Johnny Jensen. Congratulations, you guys.
This class is surely one that will not be forgotten. Thank you to every one of the seniors for making the last 4 years such an incredible experience. I would not want to trade my high school years for anything else. This class has the opportunity to truly make a difference in the world. We may be sad to wrap up our high school careers, but this class has an exciting and bright future ahead.
Thank you.
We're going to begin our academic awards for the evening with the music department. And to give our first awards, I'd like to introduce our band director, Mrs. Lacey West.
The band award is given to students who are in band all 4 years of high school. This award recognizes the dedication and leadership the students have given to the band program. The students receiving the band award this year are Brooke Herman and Stephen Phillips. These students are just truly exemplary band members. All 4 years that they've been, well, 2 years they've been with me, they have consistently striven for excellence in their personal musical performance, which has guided younger classmen in the band during rehearsals and performances. They follow directions, they're reliable, they possess a positive, fun attitude, even at 7:30 in the morning. I'm truly grateful to have had Brooke and Stephen in band these years, and I know they'll be successful in their future musical and non-musical endeavors. Thank you.
The Chorister Award is given to students who are in choir all 4 years of high school. This award is given in appreciation for the commitment and dedication a student has shown towards singing in high school. The students receiving the Chorister Award this year are Morgan Day, Isabella Gerthofer, Kylie Howder, Sydney Jones, Inga Mulle, James Osanasic, Adam Seward, Anna Scarrett, David Solfelt, and Sam Burdorn. These students are all very special to me. They have been supportive of their fellow singers, attentive to my direction, and fun-spirited through every rehearsal and concert. I'm so thankful I was able to spend the past 3 years with them and excited to see where their paths take them in the future.
National Art Honor Society began as a high school program in 1978 with the purpose of inspiring and recognizing those students who have shown an outstanding ability and interest in art. At Southwest, our chapter is one of more than 2,000 chapters worldwide, which includes over 48,000 students. The NAHS strives to aid members in attaining the highest standards in art scholarship, character, and service, and to bring art education to the attention of the school and community. Tonight we are recognizing 3 members in good standing that have completed at least 5 semesters of art with at least a B average. In fact, a total of 22 semester class hours reflect their commitment. 2 of these recipients have finished their high school career completing a 3D media portfolio, working in clay for AP Studio Art. These ladies will receive a certificate and an official NAHS honor tassel for outstanding achievement in the visual arts. Well done. Sarah Farmer, Megan Larson, and Ashton Zimmerman.
Teaching students to read sensitively and insightfully is probably the most important job of any educator. And here at Southwest, we believe that attentive reading and sensitivity to language are among the most important skills that students can attain and develop over a lifetime. The Word Right Challenge is a competition for American high school students requiring close reading and analysis of many different types of prose and poetry. It emphasizes perceptive interpretation, sensitivity to language, and an appreciation of style. Our AP English and University of Northwestern PSOS English students participate in 4 meets during the school year. They compete with more than 65,000 students drawn from some of the best public and private high schools in the United States. Tonight we are honoring 2 Word Right champions. These 2 students have consistently placed in the top tier of scores in both their junior and senior years. Would Kylie Howder and Grace Schmidt come forward to receive their awards? Well done, Kylie. And in addition to being a Word Right champion, Grace Schmidt has earned the further distinction of receiving a certificate of highest honors from Word Right.
Hello, I'm Dan Ersman, Science Department Chairman, and this is Dr. Benson. The last few years at Southwest, Dr. Benson and I have been able to apply for some research grants for the school, and that has allowed us to engage students in some research and some laboratory skills. So this year, we'd like to recognize 2 members of the class of 2018 who have excelled in science. So the Science Department at Southwest Christian now will recognize students who have demonstrated exceptional skills in the laboratory and research. These 2 young women have taken 4 years of laboratory science classes, including PSEO science, and they've demonstrated excellence in academics, in leadership, in research, and in laboratory notebook skills. This year's awards go to Angela Singer and Courtney Shirley. Please make your way forward. So, Angela distinguished herself last year by leading the clinical affairs team in the medical diagnostics grant and completing a clinical protocol that had IRB approval. She also was my chemistry TA and graded almost 500 laboratory notebooks, along with a little help from Anders. And Courtney also distinguished herself last year by leading the program management team in the medical diagnostics grant and successfully led this class in completing important deadlines for the project. So both these young women distinguished themselves with leadership and competency in the physics lab this year, and they kept the best laboratory notebooks that I've seen in my 5 years of teaching. So I congratulate them again for the Science Award.
Buenas noches. My name is Brianna Wakefield, and I am one of the Spanish teachers here at Southwest Christian High School. Tonight, the Foreign Language Department would like to recognize 3 students for their outstanding achievement in Spanish. In order to receive this certificate, students had to meet 2 requirements. First, they had to be enrolled in a Spanish course all 4 years of high school, which includes our high school level classes or a PSEO course. Second, they had to complete the most advanced level of Spanish offered at Southwest. We honor these students tonight for their persistence, interest, dedication, and excellence in learning a foreign language. I hope that the skills that you've learned over the last 4 years serve you well in your post-secondary education experiences, future careers, and ministry opportunities. When I call your name, please come forward to accept your award and certificate of achievement in Spanish. Hunter Brown, Emma Mokel, and Grace Schmidt.
Good evening. My name is Patrick Mealy. I'm the Theater Department Chair here at Southwest, and I have the distinct pleasure of recognizing a number of very talented students for their excellent work in theater this year. These are students who were honored by induction into the International Thespian Society. The International Thespian Society is an invitation-only group of students honored for their excellence in theater arts. The word thespian comes from Thespis, the founder of Greek drama. Our Southwest Christian High School Thespian Troupe is a club for students who are very involved in any aspect of theater. The society recognizes the dedication of theater participants by extending membership through a point system based on hours worked in any given theatrical production. Once you're in the club, it's expected that you will maintain a high level of participation in theater arts. This group of students that I'll read off here shortly represents the very highest degree of actor and crew, and I am honored to have worked with them over the past years. They have all played pivotal roles in our theater productions, and they have left an enduring legacy here at Southwest. Additionally, many of these students have achieved high academic standing while participating in theater. These students are also recognized as Vice President's Scholars with a GPA between 3.5 and 4.0. As I read your name, please come to the stage to receive your medallion to be worn at graduation. Zach Boker, 4-star thespian. Morgan Day, 1-star thespian, Vice President's List Scholar. Sarah Farmer, thespian and Vice President List Scholar. Rachel Gasson, 4-star thespian, Vice President List Scholar, and Vice President of our thespian troupe. Anna Scarrett, 1-star thespian, Vice President List Scholar. And Joey Verink, 1-star thespian and Vice President List Scholar.
Southwest Christian High School Leadership Academy provides a training ground to inspire, motivate, and equip students to grow in their God-given leadership. This program introduces students to ideas, habits, and challenges from leaders in the marketplace and ministry who cultivate an atmosphere of Christ-centered leadership, honoring God, valuing and building others up, and inspiring others. These students have completed 2 years in the program. They have reflected on the importance of character and integrity, examined their own leadership strengths, studied best practices, and interacted with mentors who have sharpened their thinking. Personally, it has been a privilege working with these students and watching them implement their strengths for Christ-centered leadership. Thank you for the influence you have left on our community at Southwest. At this time, would the seniors who participated in the Southwest Christian High School Leadership Academy in both their junior and senior years, please come forward when your name is called. These students will be receiving a certificate to recognize their commitment and growth as student leaders to the Southwest community. May God bless you in your leadership roles in your future. Isaac Anderson, Kirsten Carlson, Sydney Jones, Stephen Phillips, Angela Singer, and Isaac Velgersdijk.
At this point in the program, it is our privilege to honor those seniors who over their 4 years at Southwest Christian High School distinguished themselves through their academic commitment and achievement. Every one of these seniors here tonight has accomplished something significant in graduating from Southwest. Their teachers have stretched them academically, requiring them to work hard and challenge them to think both critically and biblically about the world in which they live. In addition, many of our seniors have pushed themselves by taking college-level courses while being students here at Southwest, with the result of earning college credit during their high school careers. These classes are tough, requiring a lot of discipline and hard work. Therefore, we want to commend these students for the diligence and commitment to learning. Would those seniors who earned 12 or more college credits during their high school careers please stand and remain standing? These students have already completed a full semester of college coursework, and most of them did so while being involved in numerous co-curricular activities such as student leadership, athletics, music, and theater. Well done. And with those seniors who earned 24 or more credits in their high school career, please remain standing. These students have already completed a full year of college coursework, some of them close to 3 college semesters. Congratulations. You may be seated. Now, for those seniors graduating with honors, Southwest's rigorous education makes their accomplishment even more impressive. Tonight, the students graduating with honors, high honors, and highest honors will be receiving a certificate and an honors cord.
Those seniors with a cumulative GPA of 3.4 to 3.69 will be, 3.59 will be graduating with honors. Would those seniors graduating with honors please stand and make your way to the front? Ryan Cavalieri, Zachary Ertel, Sarah Farmer, Kylie Howder, Peter Hay, Zachary Holmgren, Shelby Madsen, Inga Mully, Lillian Turnquist, Samuel Verdorn, and Joseph Burink. Again, those are the students with the honors, graduating with honors. Okay. Those seniors with a cumulative GPA of 3.6 to 3.79 will be graduating with high honors. Would those seniors graduating with high honors please stand and make your way to the front? Isaac Anderson. It's a long way to go. Hunter Brown. Emily Cleary. Rachel Gasson. Nicolette Graves. Clifford Nyland. Anders Olsen. Jack Seltz. Adam Seward. Joshua Surek. Isaac Velgersdijk. Hunter White. Eric Wicken. And Joseph Yanni. Finally, those seniors with a cumulative GPA of 3.8 to 4.0 will be graduating with highest honors. With those seniors graduating with highest honors, please stand and make your way to the front. Lindsay Anderson. Micah Brands. Morgan Day. Isabella Gerthofer. Brooke Herman. Sydney Jones. Jebediah Merkel. James Osanasic. Colin Patterson. Benjamin Schmidt. Courtney Shirley. Aaron Schultz. Angela Singer. Anna Scarrett. And Carly Watchorn. The class of 2018 valedictorians with a grade point average of 4.0 are Grace Backstrom, Sydney Beard, Emma Mokel, Grace Schmidt, Lauren Schwen, Grace Scott, and Naomi Vale.
It is my privilege to recognize a senior who is receiving one of the most prestigious honors offered to high school graduates. Every year, high school students across the country take the preliminary SAT National Merit Qualifying Test, making them eligible to enter the National Merit Scholarship Program. Of the 1.6 million students who entered the 2018 competition, only the top 50,000 received recognition from the National Merit Program. I am now honored to present a letter of commendation from the National Merit Scholarship Corporation to Grace Schmidt. Over the course of this past year, our seniors have been making the exciting and often difficult decision of where they will go to continue their education. Numerous scholarships have been offered to our seniors from colleges and universities across the nation. This evening, a Southwest family is here to present a very special scholarship to one of our graduates. Mr. Jeff Herman and his daughter Brooke, a graduating senior, are here to present the Ethan Herman Memorial Scholarship.
Good evening. I'm Brooke, and this is my father, Jeff. When our organization, Head for Awareness, was established, our main goal was to raise awareness about youth concussions and the effects that they have on young students. We've also hosted a 5K run to raise money for awareness and scholarships. This scholarship was designed for my brother Ethan's classmates and fellow teammates. We wish to take our family tragedy and do something good in Ethan's name. The recipient of the scholarship is someone who exhibits academic excellence, extracurricular involvement, and service to church and community. To date, we have awarded over $45,000 in scholarship money to high school seniors. We are honored once again to give a $1,000 scholarship to whom we believe fits the criteria for this special scholarship. This year's recipient of the 2018 Head for Awareness Ethan Herman Memorial Scholarship is Grace Schmidt.
Here to present our final award this evening is Mr. Andrew Armstrong, the owner of Chick-fil-A Chanhassen.
So as the owner of Chick-fil-A in Chanhassen, it's my privilege to award one of my team members and a Southwest Christian High School graduate a $2,500 leadership scholarship. This scholarship is available to any Chick-fil-A team member, but awarded to the leaders who are able to achieve academic excellence while also volunteering to make a positive impact in their community. Since 1973, Chick-fil-A has awarded over $60 million in college scholarships, and this year alone, Chick-fil-A will award over $14 million in scholarships to more than 5,700 incredible team members. At Chick-fil-A Chanhassen, I have the honor of awarding 4 of those scholarships for a total of $10,000, one of which is for Naomi Vale. Naomi is a 4.0 student. She has achieved the highest honor roll every year and is a valedictorian. Naomi has fought through adversity her whole life and is a great success story of what can be accomplished through hard work, determination, and a servant's heart. She is such a joy to work with, and she has such a great attitude. Naomi is an outstanding team member and a great ambassador for Chick-fil-A, and it is my pleasure to award her this $2,500 scholarship.
Well, in a moment, I'm going to invite Lauren Schwen to come up to the podium and close our program in prayer. But just a couple quick announcements. First of all, I want to thank the junior class for hosting the reception we're going to have in the Commons for our graduates. So please, after the prayer, remain seated as our graduates head out to the Commons, and then we'd love for you to join us up there for refreshments. And if you did park off-site, shuttles will be bringing you to your vehicles this evening. Thanks again for coming. I hope to see all of you at our commencement exercises at Westwood Church on Friday, starting at 7 p.m. And at this time, Lauren, would you please come up and close us in prayer?
Men, please remove your caps. Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather tonight and celebrate the last 4 years of high school. As we look back, we are grateful for the blessings that Southwest has been to each and every one of us. Thank you for the teachers and faculty who have selflessly poured into us. They have been instrumental in helping us grow in our knowledge of the subject matter, but most importantly, in our knowledge of you. Lord, you have been so gracious in giving us our parents, who have loved and supported us as we have grown up. Thank you for their godly wisdom and provision. Most importantly, we are thankful to you, God. You have been with us every step of the way. We believe you are faithful to your promise to go with us as we move on from here. You have grown and shaped us through both sorrows and joys. We thank you for the lessons you have taught us and the community you have blessed us with. Tonight, as we celebrate and look to the future, we ask for your presence to be real in all of our lives. We ask that your peace would go with us as we end this chapter and that it would follow us next fall. We pray that you would keep us close to you, encourage us when we are tired and worn out, and comfort us when we are sad and lonely. Show us your path for us and help us to be willing to follow it wherever it might take us in life. Fill us with your love and make us a light to those we encounter in the future. Lord, continue to bless Southwest. Let other students come and experience the same biblical teaching and community that we have. We ask that you would keep the school rooted in you and your teaching. Continue to encourage the teachers and staff and help them pour into the lives of the students at the school. We are grateful for the impact Southwest has had on each of us. Jesus, we know you will never leave us nor forsake us, and we cling to that promise over these next few months as we experience great change. We are excited to see the ways you will work in our lives. In your name we pray, amen.